So today I'm going to show you one of my favorite poses, a newborn belly pose. I don't know that that's what it's actually called, but it's on the belly, so that's what I'm going to call it. I use this one in almost all of my sessions. So as you can see, this little guy was not asleep yet when we started the pose, but he was nice and calm, so that was fine. And I like to get them in position before I set them down on the beanbag, so that once they're down, I'm not trying to adjust them. It's much easier that way. So I start by pulling the opposite hand across and putting the back of the hand on the cheek so they're palm down. And then I put one of my hands there to hold it in place. Then if you lean the baby forward and get them almost in the same position they're going to be in once they're on the bag, then you can kind of just pick them up and set them down. So I already have his feet crisscrossed, as you can see, his ankles crossed, and his feet will just tuck right underneath his bum. And in this case, he actually pulls out, but you'll see I'll have to adjust it a little bit. So once the baby is down, pull your hand out straight up instead of pulling it out in front of the baby's face. Because if you pull it out in front of the baby's face, you might actually pull the hand out, and then you would have to start over and push the hand back underneath and repose them completely. And you can see that he's kind of popped his knee out. So I'm actually going to end up tucking his leg back down in a second. That's my assistant Chelsea. She's helping me prop him up just a little bit more, prop his head up a little bit more. So I have a couple of cloth diapers there underneath his head to kind of prop him up. He's sort of at an angle. And right here I'm just checking to make sure his other arm is comfortable and that he's not tucked in a strange position. He appears comfortable. He was pretty chill, so I wasn't worried about it, but I like to check and just make sure all their limbs are folded the right way. So his leg there, he's kind of popped his knee out, and so I'm just going to pick both. I'm going to sort of pick his bum up and then take both of his ankles and recross them and sort of set his bum back down on his feet to hold them in place. The position that he's in right now isn't dangerous or, anything, but when their feet are down like that, if they startle or kick in the middle of the pose, it's possible they could launch themselves forward. And so I just prefer in this pose to kind of cross their feet and tuck them under so that eliminates that possibility. So I want his head up a little bit more. And you can see I've got a receiving blanket, and I pull my blanket at the same time that I'm pushing the receiving blanket under. And my assistant Chelsea has her hand on him the whole time. So if it were to shift him at all and he were to start rolling, she's got a hand on him, so he's not going to go anywhere. I love having an assistant for newborn pictures, but if you don't have an assistant to help you, you could always have mom or dad just kind of spot you while you're adjusting the baby. So now that he's all set and it looks good to me, I'm going to pull his fingers a little flat one more time. And then we're going to swap the blankets. And it's so warm in the room that when I take that blanket off of him, it doesn't startle him. There's no cold air that's hitting him when we take the blanket away. And my hands are nice and warm, so when I touch him, it doesn't startle him. So we're going to go ahead and tuck him into this blanket and just kind of lay it over him. And then we're going to take his pacifier and make the shot. The nice thing with this pose is that you could swap that blanket out 2 or 3 times and wrap him differently without moving him and get different looks out of it. So there you have it. There's the final picture from that setup. I hope that helps.